Welcome to Weiss's Wednesday, and I hope you're ready for some outrageous content. Yeah, baby. Hey, it's Michael Weiss, the founder of Client Engagement Academy, and we've got some great content today. It's called the Dual Client Pathway. Now, what is a dual client pathway? People often ask me that, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. First, let's tell a little story about the history of online education, because it's important to understand the foundation that's driving really what's broken in the industry. So imagine it's 2003, 2004, really the start of the internet, and some early adopters said, oh, I'm going to create an online course. They created a course with 10 lessons. You bought the course for $500 or $1,000, probably back in that day, $100. And then they sent you an email, and the email had 10 links, 10 lessons. So you were like, oh, that's easy. And you just clicked on them and you digested those lessons. Now, what was the problem? The problem was that then you were like, oh, this is really good. And you sent it to 50 or 100 friends. So the educators really were upset that they did not have the ability to protect their content, number one. And number two, by just giving you all of the 10 lessons in an email, how would they even control whether you went to lesson 9 first and lesson 1? Did you miss the entire foundation of what you needed to progress and build to create a learner's outcome? Then none of that existed. So what happened, mostly because of the theft, is they created what we call a membership site that said, okay, you buy the course now, and then you get a login and password. You go to the site, you log in and password, boom, there are the 10 lessons. And so while that was effective at protecting the content, we're still left with that original problem of here is all the content and no learner pathway, no suggested pathway, just leaving it up to the learner to figure out how to learn and get an outcome. So that was really sort of an epic fail. And it's like what they call the drinking from the fire hose, just too much content, and people need to be guided and directed. So the next evolution, which really is one of the things that's broken the industry, is let's figure out how to drip content to people, because if we drip it out to them, we control that learner pathway. Now, the theory behind that is good, but the practical side of it is not so good. And let me explain why. Let's imagine now that 100 people bought a course, and that pool of 100 people came in on day one. If we examine those 100 people, do we think there are different personality types? Well, the answer is yes. And a company I did work for a while back is a sales training company. They have an acronym called BANK, B-A-N-K, which basically says that we can categorize people into 4 broad categories: B for blueprint, A for action, N for nurture, and K for knowledge. And when we sell to those people, we have to reframe everything differently because they take in information differently. So utilizing that same philosophy, if people are going to come in as new customers to us, are all those people going to go and operate the same way with our content? The answer is absolutely not. So here is where this gigantic separations happened, and I equate to like at least 1/3 or 33% of people not completing courses is directly associated to dripping content. And here's how it plays out. So out of the 100 people, 33 of them, at 1/3, are action-oriented, type A people. B, that's the A. And they are going to buy something, and they want to get immediate results. So they see a course. They spend $1,000. It's 10 lessons. All good so far. They come in. They log in. They get access to lesson 1. In 1 hour, they finish it. And then the system makes them wait for 6 days and 23 more hours. And then they get access to 2. And in 1 hour, they finish it. And then the system makes them wait for 6 days and 23 hours. What do you think that does to a type A person? It pisses them off. That's correct. It creates separation, and basically they stop. So what is the solution? We know by giving everything to everyone at once, that doesn't work because they get overwhelmed and they don't know where to start or begin, and they don't take action, and they are also not going to finish. And we also know that if you torture people one lesson at a time over a week or 2 weeks or whatever it might be, that's not going to work for at least 1/3 of the people. That's where we get to dual client pathway, which is the magic of it all. because what we're doing is really combining two imperfect systems to create the perfect system. So let me give you an example. We still definitely want to frame the prescription in terms of what is the perfect amount of time to go through a course. 10 lessons. If it is 10 weeks because there's practicums and things in between and we want people to do things, that's fine. There's a vast majority of the people that want to follow what you prescribe, and they will. However, what we need to do is take care of the type A people. And the way we do that is by providing them the ability to take fast action. So if in the first hour they go through lesson 1, they digest it, they do some exercises, they pass the quiz on that lesson, we immediately give them access to the second. The same thing with the second, the third, the fourth. As long as they're comprehending and we validate that through our quizzes at the end of each lesson, we give them access to more. Now, what does that look like? Well, it absolutely expands the ability for us to create outcomes for our students, because the reality today for us as educators is it's not about selling more information. It's not even getting people to actually comprehend and complete the coursework. Now that is a task in itself because the averages globally are only 3 to 12%. We get 40 to 80% for our clients. So that's a great first milestone. But the real key is that you want people to go through the course, engage, complete, and then utilize what you taught them so they can make a bigger impact in the world. By expanding and implementing the dual client pathway, we now can address more people, engage more people to comprehend, complete, and make a bigger impact in the world. Put that in place and you'll see your business take off.